Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you, this time talking episode 17 of Season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow called Aruba. So here it is, our Season 2 finale, and all in all, I have to say this was a pretty solid ending. I was pretty well happy with the majority of the episode. There were a few things though that, well, let's just kind of get right into things. So this is a nice example of just basically how good dramatic storytelling works. We've heard time and time again, oh, you can't go back in time and fiddle around with events that you participated in. Okay, so obviously if you have that rule in place, you have to have the characters break it. Otherwise, it's not interesting. Well, okay. I mean, you can do plenty of things that are interesting with the characters observing the rule. But it's just too interesting of, well, what happens if we don't, to not have them break the rule. Now, the stuff with, like, similar things like, well, we can't go back to the crucifixion, because that's just something too important to mess with. Well, I think that's really just more of a like, that is such a hot button that nobody on the show would ever want to try and do that. Superheroes running around the crucifixion is going to get the hackles up of a lot of religious people, no matter how you do it. So it's just sort of like, okay, we're just not going to mess around with that. We're in fact going to explicitly say that the heroes are never ever going to mess around with anything like that. Because, you don't want a stream of religious people extraordinarily angry with you because there's just no benefit to it. I mean, whatever kind of story they might want to tell, it's just not worth the controversy for the show. So I can't hold that against the show. That's just pragmatism. Now, when we're in situations like this, where it's like, okay, the bad future has to be averted, and there's two different versions of heroic characters running around, well, yes, of course, you're probably going to take the option of, killing them off in some way because, hey, you get to show your main characters dying, but in a way that doesn't actually affect the show in any sort of real long-term way. Well, or the same it would be like, say, when they killed Laurel on Arrow. That was a completely different sort of situation. Because, again, that's just interesting. It's interesting to be able to do that. Of course, this is also a little bit of a given in situations like this. People have observed, particularly when they do like alternate reality stories and things like that, the comic book writers are a little too, can get a little kill happy with sort of like, hey, it's an alternate reality. I can kill all these characters that I would never be able to kill in like the main universe. So what the hell, right? One of my favorite examples of that was this alternate reality story that was actually genuinely very good, called Superman the Nail, and it's basically just sort of like, okay, Superman doesn't come into existence in the DC universe, and then what happens? And this kind of give you a little bit of a spoiler on this one. These things go pretty badly for Batman to the point where he's actually like, the Joker is like basically murdering Robin and Batgirl right in front of him, and Batman is just basically on his knees begging the Joker to spare them. And oh boy, I mean, it's a tough scene. And yeah. But again, it was an alternate reality, so why the hell not have the Joker do stuff like that? Because it doesn't affect the mainstream comics. If people don't like the story, oh well. It was just kind of a side story that had no greater ramifications. And here we get to see Malcolm, Damian, and Vaughn, killing versions of and Snart killing versions of the heroes, because again, these versions of the characters are going to be erased from reality anyway. So why the hell not? And why not make the most of it? We don't really get to see any sort of ramifications from Stein watching a version of Jack's die, but you have to think that's going to play an enormous toll on his psyche, and something that we'll definitely be seeing some ramifications of next season. And watching Nate die proves to be the push that Amaya needs to stay on the Wave Rider to do what she wants, and to also kind of help Nate realize it's like, man, even with this situation, I want to be with this woman, so I'm gonna go for it. Um, and I did like the characters having to have those little conversations with their past selves, which are really not that terribly far in the past, but it is understandable. I mean, there are sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we say, like, man, if I knew what I knew like 6 months ago, my life I'd be doing some really different things. Or if I knew what I knew if I could tell myself if I get my past self from a couple of weeks ago some advice, then the current situation would be a lot better. And that just says a lot about the nature of life, I suppose. I I also liked the whole thing with like Sarah repeatedly saying it's like, I can't be the one to do this stuff with the Spirit of Destiny. There's too much darkness in it. Sarah's got some pretty damn good reasons to think that. And I like that she tried to make what does seem to be a very reasonable choice. Give it to someone like Amaya, who is, at her core, a very good person. She's got her troubles, but Maya doesn't have that darkness within her, and that's of course why she had to be taken out of the situations in both instances. And of course, this also gets us to another appearance by Katie Cassidy, and lets Sarah finally find some real peace with her sister's passing. And I do have to say, I love that little twist with what they did, what she changed. It's one of those things that's like deceptively simple, but you're just like, of course, why didn't I think of that? So having her depower the spear, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. It keeps Sarah from, basically playing God, which is, what the Reverse Flash did. That was his whole thing. He wants to play God. And, but it's also just enough to make it so the heroes can make things right. And of course, this lets the Black Flash out of his cell, and geez, all those Reverse Flashes, yeah, he wouldn't have had any trouble figuring out where Thawne was this time. And Thawne finally gets what's coming to him. It's always great to watch Eobard Thawne get what's coming to him, because he is such a jerk. He's a great example of like villains you love to hate. I mean, he's a very effective character. He's interesting. He's compelling. He's extremely dangerous. And he's very entertaining. But you're just like, God, this guy's such a bastard. I can't wait to see him get what he deserves. And here it is. He gets killed with his own signature move by the Black Flash. Now, some people have said, well, Flash is his home show, and Barry played no part in him being taken out here, and that's kind of BS. Well, come on, this is a comic book show. You really think that this is the end of Eobard? He'll be back. He'll definitely turn up again on the Flash at some point. I think he's kind of going to be in a way like Q was on Star Trek: The Next Generation. He'd turn up once, maybe twice a season, and it would always be an interesting and memorable episode. Okay, some of those Q episodes weren't so great. Boy, oh boy, the ones on Voyager sucked. But so did most of the episodes of Voyager. But yeah, they'll definitely have him popping back up on the Flash, and there's a million ways they can find some way to bring him back, or some alternate version of it. I mean, no, it's the Flash. Of course, he's going to duke it out with the Reverse Flash again and again, because that's how comic books work. Let's see. What else? I did like how they wrapped up things smart, and Nick put it so really nicely. This is your punishment level. Snart is punished by having to become a better man, which to him was really a fate worse than death in a lot of ways. And I definitely like that last scene with Damien Dark and Sarah, where Dark is like, "Yeah, hey, okay, you're gonna let me go, and oh, hey, you set me on the path to murdering your sister. You're cool with that?" And Sarah's like, "Yeah, actually, I've made my peace with it. So is Laurel." Now, of course, that wasn't really Laurel. That was, as people have said, the consciousness of the Spear of Destiny telling Sarah, it's like, look, you can do whatever you want, but I get the feeling that you are going to do the right thing. And Sarah does. And this is also kind of a nice end cap where she kind of made the situation infinitely worse by taunting Dark with information about his future. Now, the one thing that really did bother me this episode is that after it's all over, they're like, "Oh, you took Malcolm back to 2017. Is he in jail?" And she's like, "Nah, I just dumped him in his crummy apartment." Why didn't you take him to jail? I mean, seriously, turn him over to Argus or something. He did destroy huge amounts of Star City back in like a couple of years ago. Resulted in the deaths of over 500 people. He's killed and murdered God only knows how many people since then. Let them lock him up on Lian Yu. Turn him over to the authorities. But no, we have to dump him in his crummy apartment. That's stupid. And that's right up there with like Reverse Flash, just not using all his super speed to immediately grab the Spear of Destiny or kill all the legends. It says, like, I'm going to knock these guys out and save the person with the Spear of Destiny for last. But that'll get by just because Fawn's that much of an egotistical dick, so it's believable that he might do that. But still, there's you don't decide to. Okay, we're just going to let that go. Another nice little speech at the end between Sarah and Rip with him. And Rip's being a little bit too hard on himself, in all honesty. But Sarah has indeed shown that she is a good captain of a Road Rider. And it's not like they aren't going to bring Rip back next season. So, I mean, Sarah's a good captain, she's a good leader, but who knows more about time travel than anybody on the show? Rip. Okay, he does have, despite him not being able to see it, extremely valuable role to play on the team. He is a trained time master, and I guess Nick doesn't really remember a lot of that stuff from when he was Kronos or whatever. I don't know. Let's see. Oh yes, our big little twist at the end with them ending up in some crazy tiny mishmash version of LA. Boy, oh boy, does that open the door to damn near anything in season 3. And it also makes sense. It's sort of like, okay, we broke the cardinal rule of time travel, and other than a little turbulence, nothing bad happened. Well, okay, here's the consequences of breaking one of the cardinal rules of time travel. Well, now let's see how all this plays out. So, yeah, a good season, folks. Not without its ups and downs, but all in all, really solid, and it'll be very interesting to see how things play out in season 3, which has already been confirmed. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to call it here. Thanks for joining me this season. I'll, of course, be back for reviewing season 3. Until then, take care and have a good one. And, of course, please consider following me on Twitter at Who's Your Jedi, and also on Tumblr at Jedi Reviewer. Take care and have a good one.